Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So next week, when my next order of bismuth arrives, I hope to do more of these. I used to call these dirty bombs because of an idea I have on how one of these could be launched as a dirty bomb to execute Putin. But these dirty bombs are especially addicting to make, and the reason they are addicting is because of the amount of uncertainty that goes into every one, right? So the way you make them, you got to melt about 3-4 pounds of bismuth, which forms a level like this in the melting pot, and you got to figure out when to end the process. And I would say they turn out decent like this half the time. The other half of the time you might get a few small crystals, and then you got to start over. And each iteration might take a good 10-20 minutes for it to melt and solidify and all that. And there's a lot of uncertainty that goes into it. And it's akin to a person who's addicted to playing the slot machine, right? Every pool, you might win something, you might lose, and you always want to play again, right? If you're losing, you're chasing your losses. If you're winning, you want to win more. And this is a great way to destroy an entire weekend, right? You could start doing this on a Friday afternoon after work, and next thing you know, you have to head to work on a Monday, right? And so I've done that before, believe it or not. It's very addicting. But the reason I like this is that the better I get at it, right, the more money I could potentially make, right? So I've gotten to a point where half the time I could pull a good geode like that. When I first started, I wasn't nearly that great. And when I go to sell this at the art show, nobody's going to sit down and grill me on how many hours did it take to make one of these, right? You get the idea, right? Now, I recently was interviewing for a bunch of tutoring gigs, just on Facebook Marketplace and other places. And the first thing that a lot of, especially parents, want to know is how much I charge, right? Before they even know what my degree is in, before they even know my background, before they even want to see any feedback from previous students or any my resume or anything, they ask how much I charge. And so basically their idea is that the worse I am at tutoring, the more hours I could waste on their kids, the more they don't say it that way, obviously. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've been tutoring a student, and I think about how can I waste some more time with this kid to make it into a 1 hour or a 2 hour or however many hour session they need, right? So for example, I schedule a 2-hour session with some student, and really the kid in theory, I could get the kid to understand the material in 45 minutes, but I have to stretch it out, right? I would never dream of stretching things out with. Can you imagine if I had to tell my clients that it takes 2 hours for me to pour a dirty bomb, and so I really stretch it out, right? Play with my stuff, right? And maybe I'm not even satisfied with what I make, and I remelt it and start over again from time to time, right? That's akin to how I handle some of these students, and especially the parents, right? I tend to not have that big a problem if I'm tutoring some older students who are finding me on their own, right? But younger students who I'm still negotiating with the parents, oh my lord, right? It's more politics than customer service, right? Imagine I could wave a wand and get the kid to understand the material in 1 second, right? Most parents would probably not want to pay for that, but why not? You got the same thing that you could get out of 10 hours in 1 second, and now you got 10 more hours to do whatever you want, right? And so I don't get the logic behind that, right? If I could push a button and crystals would just teleport to me, right? They would be worth just as much, as long as somebody else doesn't have that capability, right? If all of us had the capability of pressing buttons and bismuth appearing in front of us, then that might be a different story, right? So anyways, some frustrations. It's like the parents are literally asking me, how bad do you suck? Oh, really badly. Okay, I'll give you $1 million. Or that's how I feel about it, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.